But
No,
yeah.
I like March today, but
Yes. I don't know.
All right, are we done or what?
Yeah, I'm recording.
Oh, this has all been recorded? Good.
Past maybe like 15 seconds.
All right, well, why don't you introduce us?
Welcome to the call. This is the banlist discussion video. We have myself, Face, Murloc, and Morph. We're going to be talking about the ban list, what is on it that we think can be changed from the current ban list, and what will be added to, and more. Alright, so, Face, why don't you start off the discussion? Do you want to touch anything on the ban list that is already on the forbidden list as of last March?
Wait, what?
The ban list currently, things that are banned. Like right now I have the ban list pulled up in front of me.
Sam just wants to start off things getting unbanned, I think.
Well, okay. I think only 2 cards are even worth talking about that can get unbanned. Like,
okay.
I only think Magician of Faith and Royal Pressure are even worth talking about. And I don't even think, like, I'm not trying to say anything in particular. I'm just saying, like, those are the only ones worth talking about.
You said Royal Pressure, what else?
Magician of Faith.
Okay. Well, talk about them. What do you think?
Magician of Faith was banned on September 1st in 2008 after GOAT format, and it hasn't really been touched since then at all. And that was almost 5 years ago now.
You don't think what do you think that it'll do to anything else? Like anything? Like
So is there any other justification besides just talking about it, besides it's been 5 years? Or?
Well, I'm just giving statistics about it. I'm going to give facts about everything in general before we start talking about it, because it's important to know the context that the card was banned in. It was banned 5 years ago in a much slower format after a really powerful anti-meta deck like GOAT Control. GOAT format was 2005, 6, and 7, and this was pretty much after all that shit went down. I believe this was the first ban list, 2008. But I'm not certain on that. I don't know, one of the first. So.
Wait, how long has ban list been around?
I think, like I said, September 2008 was the first one.
Really?
2003.
Yeah, I definitely don't think 2008.
It was 2003.
Oh yeah, they go way back. Okay, I don't know.
All right. You said Royal Oppression.
If you have nothing else to talk about with Magician of Faith,
well,
like,
all right.
What prompted it being brought up? Just that fact.
I went down all the banned cards and I was like, this is probably the worst one on the list.
Even you think it's really the worst on the list? I mean, Cyberstein's pretty bad if you really think about it.
I agree, but I think in terms of like raw power, like he can win a game or he can lose a game. Whereas Magician of Faith can just get an extra card. I mean, the card can win you a game too, but it really it's a much more interactive card, you know. Like
I'm not even
Faith.
comparing them like besides that. I mean, like if cards like Cyberstein, which like I mean, unless I'm really overlooking it, really doesn't have a practical purpose even in today's meta. I mean, if that's still on the list, what would prompt Magician of Faith coming back? It just seems like. Hold the cards.
Well, it definitely. I mean, you have to agree with me that it's definitely one of the weaker cards on the ban list. You know, yeah, there is stuff like Cyberstein that's probably weaker, but.
Well, don't you think in doing that, let's just say something does happen to spellbooks.
Right.
Do you think Magician of Faith would keep it balanced, or do you think Magician of Faith would just add like more of a dilemma in every like deck?
With Spellbook of Master already being able to access a lot of the spells in the graveyard, and you know, the World Prophecy card that can grab 2 spellbooks from the graveyard, I really don't think Magician of Faith adds a lot to the deck because it slows the deck down, and it really can't afford to just not do anything for a turn besides set a monster.
Do you think it would be run in like every deck though?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Like I don't think it's overly powerful right now. I think it's like obviously it's a powerful card, but I wasn't saying it can't be unbanned for the sake of it, being too powerful, but for the sake of you know, just the fact that it's Magician of Faith. It can't be unbanned in the same way that Cyberstein, you know, is kind of still banned.
Yeah.
But,
Well, we all said that about
I do agree
Tsukiyomi
with-
too, and
Yeah,
then
yeah. I was thinking that when I brought it up before.
The Tsukiyomi thing?
Yeah, like everyone said Tsukiyomi can't come back. It's fucking Tsukiyomi, and
and now it's at 2.
now it's a 2.
So
So might be right.
it's just one of those slow cards that was great in 2005, but you know, nowadays when you put it back into context, is it really as good as you remember? You know?
Yeah, I agree. On that note, though, you did say about Cyberstein before. But we talked about it on previous lists about Cyberstein. Just pay how is it 5,000?
Mm-hmm.
Pay 5,000 Valor, pay 5,000 Warning, pay 5,000 anything. Like it's just there's so many ways to stop it. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah, but the times that you can't, it's going to be game sealing. You know, like there's just going to be that one guy at every local that plays the Cyberstein deck, and he's just going to be a real pain in the ass.
We're already pain in the asses.
Until he gets Valored.
Yeah, I know. I
And
guess
then he won't be.
He can get Valored, and
I already made a deck if Cyberstein comes back.
Is it good?
No.
Yep. It's Chain Burn.
Okay.
With Cyberstein in the side deck.
Okay.
Okay. You said Repression.
Yeah, I don't think it should come back. I just thought it was worth. When I went through the list, I was like, these are the 2 worth talking about. You know,
Yeah.
like nothing else even deserves talking about.
Well,
I don't either. That card's, especially now that the game is sped up so fast. The game's just, I mean, like, everyone would just run one oppression, and after you make, like, an equivalent, you just make, like, a Drago Sack this format, or whatever huge monster you like, and then just set the oppression, and your opponent can't get rid of it.
It's basically like what everybody was doing this format when you make a Dragossack and then Vanity's Emptiness.
pretty much. That's what I was going to get at next.
Make Xian Vanity's Emptiness. Make Dragossack Vanity's Emptiness. Jaugen Kaiku Vanity's Emptiness.
I mean, if you play with oppression, you know how it goes. Like, even, you know, when it was unbanned, it just...
Summon Titanial, 2 dandy tokens that flip oppression for game.
Yep. I think there's a lot more practical situations than that one, but yeah, no, Oppression's a good card. I just thought we should talk about why it can't come back. People probably were wondering about that card.
I don't think it can come back.
That's what we just, you know...
Yeah, like, what do you think about, obviously, Morph, I know that you're favored toward Zen Mighty, but do you think it can potentially come back to 1?
I think it, well, I don't know if it will this list. I'd like it to come back, to 1, because the deck is really, really horrible. It's just unplayable, this format. I mean, granted, it was doing stuff before, you know, Tachyon came out. It was making, like, appearances. I think it, might have top 16 that, New Jersey. I'm not 100% if that was the place of it, but regardless, it was showing up. But...
Yeah, but that's when the format was like Fire Fists and like half of Mermills.
Yeah,
which,
yeah. I don't know how, you know, the ban list will turn out this time around, but it might end up slowing down. And that could potentially do something. But the lineups right now, I was trying to play them, and it just felt like just a husk of windups without Zen Mighty. Like, the deck can't really do what windups are meant to do until, like, maybe turn... I mean, if you have a factory, it would take, like, 3 or 4 turns to actually get going, and if you don't even know if you are going to.
Yeah, it's definitely a needed card. I feel like for that deck to even survive anymore, it needs to come back. I just don't know if it will.
Yeah, like if Magician was at 1 and Mighty was at 1, the deck would just it would feel like windups, but it definitely would be wouldn't be overpowered. I would think it'd just have a place, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's gonna come back this list because it was just banned like 6 months ago, you know.
Yeah.
But you never know.
All right.
But,
well, the only 2 cards that I had highlighted were Royal Oppression for Disccussion and Zen Mighty. But I'm going through the list right now, and I noticed that and this might sound really stupid, and if it is stupid, we're not going to really talk about it. But I was looking at the comparison of Pot of Greed versus Super Rejuvenation, and You really think Pot of Greed is really all that great?
Yes. Is that like...
I know it's just a +1, but like...
it's...
With Super
What
Juice a
the-
+24.
Alright, so just because Super Juice plus 24 doesn't make Pot of Greed any more balanced. You just, there's no, like, counterplay to it to anything. You just, if you have Pot of Greed, you play it in your hand, and you immediately go +1.
I don't know. For me, I don't see a huge problem with that.
You don't see a problem with the card?
I have no idea why.
Alright, look, I'll try to defend the point in a little more, like, alright, I don't really think it should come back, but how would you feel about this? What about a staple swap? We lose Reborn or Dark Hole, but we get back Pot of Greed. Just straight up staple swap.
I don't think that even, you know... I don't, like, Dark Hole I think is a place just in existence. Like, Dark Hole,
I didn't mean them specifically. I just meant pick a staple that's at 1 and swap it out and put in Pot of
Well,
Greed.
what I mean is maybe, I mean, you can make an argument for Reborn, but virtually every staple that's at 1, I would feel like they have a place, that's why they're at 1. But Pot of Greed is just a free +1. There's no counterplay to it. It just is activate and draw a card. The counterplay is like run Mystical Rest Panel, like, which is unfeasible. It's just straight +1 for absolutely no reason. It just doesn't seem...
Okay.
Like, what does it offer the game for being at more than 1, like, for being at 1, rather?
Just like a format of lots of resources versus a format of, like, I don't know, whatever we have now, which is, let's pretend Heavy Storm is the card that gets swapped out, you know? We would lose the Mass Destruction in terms of for more resources, and I don't think that's a good thing at all, but it could be a different type of format, you know? Some people might say that that's balanced. I don't say that.
I think the one thing that Morph said was that there's no counter to it really.
Well, like what I mean is, like,
there's really no counterplay to it at
any
all.
one of, like, Mind Control, you don't, like, let's say, I mean, even Mind Control, you could say, you know, maybe I shouldn't leave this on board for the occasion that there's Mind Control, or whatever, you know, whatever you can kind of play around, but you can't really play around Pot of Greed. It just comes out, and you go +1 immediately.
Yeah, it was just a thought. I don't know. I have nothing else highlighted on that part of the list.
I didn't have this card highlighted, but people have been talking about Goyo Guardian, you know? I don't have any thoughts about it, but I was wondering what you guys thought.
I have none.
I mean, if we're talking straight Konami right now, which we are, because this is a banless discussion, I mean, the 6-axis, I mean, the 3-axis deck is coming back, and they've been printing gradually more and more synchros recently. So I would... And they also announced, whatever they mean by this, I'm not sure, but today or whatever day, I mean, it's come to my attention today that that translated print, the Japanese print, that said there's a new change to deck building, which a lot of people are anticipating is extra deck space.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, Konami seems like they're re-pushing synchros back out as well.
Yeah.
So, and the next deck that's anticipated to be big is the 3-axis deck, which shits out 6-star synchros. So, I mean, I could see Konami putting it back to 1, just for the sake of Goyo Guardian coming back to 1.
Yeah, I can see it happening too, I suppose. I don't know.
It could happen, but I don't think that it would, honestly. I don't know.
Well, obviously.
Because like I've been saying it for so long that, like, oh, it can come back, and it just hasn't. And like I think it's just one of those things where it's really good. Yeah, it attacks, but like, and then it just takes your opponent's monster. And as I'm saying this, I'm thinking actually it's less good and good, less and less good as I'm saying it. So yes, I do think it can come back.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Yep. I'm just saying I can't even justify it. I'm like, oh, it's Goyo.
It also got banned right before Xyz. Well, it was the format that it was banned, I think, right when Gateway went to 1.
I'll tell you when it was banned.
It was banned the same format that Xian went to 1 and Gateway went to 1.
Nope. She
Oh
went
yeah,
to
just
one
Gateway went to one. Just
6
Gateway
months
went to one.
afterwards. Gateway went to 1, Goyo got banned. And then,
Yeah.
that summer, XD's Monsters came out.
Yep.
It was banned on March 1st, 2011,
That's the format.
along with Cold Wave, and Gateway was limited to 1.
Oh wow.
So that must have been right after Sam's. The big first. Right,
Well,
Vice
it was
Versa.
actually... Yeah, the first... It was the week Sam's...
I'll be right back.
They had one event, and then the list came out, and then Sam's dominated for a few months.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of why it can't come back other than like, well, it's Goyo. So
Well,
I have no.
The compelling reason was it was too strong for a 6-star monster.
There aren't a lot
Sorry.
of good level 6s.
Well, they just printed 2 new good ones. So
Which ones?
the ESP Big Psychic Man, he's pretty good. He's like a DD Warrior Lady at 2300 attack, and he's a Psychic, so he's pretty nice. And then there's some other guy that I don't remember. He's level 5. Sorry.
What are the level 6s there? There's Iron Chain and Orient Dragon, and what else?
Yeah, it's definitely a really weak.
Yeah, it's a very overlooked level of synchros. There's not really much on it.
It's also, Goyo Guardian's not as good with Xyz being a thing, because if you destroy an Xyz monster by battle, you get it back with no material.
Yeah, but he's still bulky as fuck, you know.
No, I'm not denying that,
The
but
2800 attack.
he's obviously not as strong as he previously was.
Yeah.
Like, when he was banned, there was no Xyz monsters. There was nothing like that. So when you stole something, the worst thing you could steal is like a battle searcher or like a dandelion or something.
Yeah.
But for your average monster you're destroying, you take it for free. Any big monsters were all synchro monsters, so taking them is always beneficial.
Yeah, attack take the Brio. Do you have anything else you want to talk about that is currently banned?
I got nothing.
Chaos Emperor Dragon.
Anything? Nobody?
Not
All I
kidding.
want to say is
You got hinted at it, Nats.
Yeah, so fucking what?
Okay.
I mean, I guess we could talk about it, but I mean, I wouldn't think Konami's that dumb that they'd bring Chaos.
I think that they're just gonna do it for money if they do it. They're just gonna put it to 1, reprint it, and that's it. Because then everybody will need to get it. It'll be like BLS all over again.
I mean, if Chaos Emperor Dragon was to ever come back, don't you think they would have threw it back when Chaos Dragons were a thing?
Well, the Blue Eyes deck can use this stupid thing, apparently.
Yeah,
According
that's
to
that's why.
That's the hint that they made.
According
in
to
ads.
Pegasus.
Yeah.
Because like the Blue Eyes field spell or something, it makes it good. I don't know.
The trap if it gets destroyed.
It was one of their
you summon a
cards.
Blue Eyes. Yeah.
Oh.
It's stupid. I don't know. It was a duel meant to be a joke. I don't think we're supposed to take any of that seriously. So
Yeah, I don't
like
think so.
he was playing Billy Break's wind up deck with Smashing Ground. Let's not even get into this. You
And
know?
Wind Up Dog.
Yeah.
He played Wind Up Dog?
He played
Yeah.
every Wind Up.
It was for the sake of the,
Okay.
fuck, it should do it kind of fun.
So anyway,
It wasn't real life.
want to move on to limited cards that we think can either get banned or move to 2 or 3 or something like that.
Sure. What do you have on your list? I have a lot highlighted.
Me too.
Of limited
Um,
cards that go to 2.
Yeah.
Anything that can happen to a limited card at this point, whether it be banned or semi or whatever you want to do.
All right. I guess let's go. I'm going in alphabetical order because that's the way I'm looking at this. I was gonna talk about Gale first.
It's my first thing I have.
Yeah, he sucks.
Gale was limited in September 1st, 2009, which is 4 years ago now, right after Darkstrike Blackwing format, and it hasn't been touched since then. And it's a tuner, and I think with this new printing of synchros, they would be very happy getting a good tuner back in the meta.
I think it'd be a great thing to be at like 2 right now. Like there's
They also
only
just made a new Blackwing.
Hmm?
They made a new Blackwing
Oh, they did?
within like a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
A new
I don't know.
Blackwing synchro.
I think there's again. I'm going to talk about a lot of tuners that are on here just because
they're tuners.
Just because they just printed a bunch of new synchros and they're tuners.
If this format wasn't so dumb, I'd go into depth of why I think Gale's a really, really powerful card. But, I mean, this format specifically, I can't really justify why it would be at 1. But in previous, like, previous formats, like, Gale has a monster, which is ridiculously powerful, because you can pretty much, he can get over pretty much anything. And he's a tuner on top of it.
And he's a crane target.
I guess.
It's like that mech board guy.
Well, yeah, he gets over stuff, but like he still has to attack to kill the thing. So like,
well,
he's
it's
not
also
even
not until the end phase. You just you could half and then
just
stand,
sit.
or just half and sit.
Like he's got good qualities about him, yeah, but like just because he can kill something, like so can Smash and Ground, I don't think that's necessarily a reason that he can't be.
Well, Smash and Ground's also not like a
Fisher.
Like a tuner.
We also have another card right now that says once per turn half the attack of a monster.
It's Mechlord guy.
Yeah, the Mechlord guy, and then there's a Armored B, I
The
think.
Mechlord guy doesn't last. The Mechlord guy lasts until the end phase, which is very important.
He's also only when he's normal summoned. But then there's a card Armored B. Armored B has 1600 attack, and it has a target attack until the end phase. But it's once per turn, just like Gale. So, but he has more attack, so he can literally get over anything. I don't know.
Neither of them are tuners, and neither of them last past the end phase, which is
and neither of them have synergy in an already very good deck,
If and you can't be special summoned if there's you control another.
Yeah, but it's okay. I think all these good qualities don't necessarily.
If you add the monster that you sink into, or if you add the Gale, your monster still halves. So he's effectively, I mean, maybe he's not useless, but he's pretty useless. Like, once his effect goes off, your guy's permanently...
I guess.
That's all I gotta say about him now. I mean, he could come back to 2, but I just feel he'd be really fucking annoying. Kind of like Grand Mole could go back to 2, but does anyone really want Grand Mole 2?
No.
It's fucking annoying.
Yeah, it would be a little annoying. I don't know, but it was worth talking about, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like ultimately, I don't think it should happen, but it's definitely on the table.
I think if we're going to talk about tuners that shouldn't be at 1, we should probably start the conversation off with TG Striker.
Yeah, that's later. I'm going on alphabetical. We'll get to him in a second.
Sure.
Do you have Chaos Sorcerer?
Yes, I do. I have Sorcerer. Alright, I have a huge history lesson for Chaos Sorcerer. Are you ready for this? Alright, he was banned September 2008. He was limited March 2009. He was semi-limited in September 2009. Then he was back to limited March 2010. Then he was semi-limited again in September 2010. And then he finally went to 3 again for the first time since he was released, March 2011. And then on the September 2011 and then March 2012 list, he didn't get touched. And that's a big deal because for every other list since September 2008, he was on a list. He's been on a list so many times that him not being on a list was a big deal. And then in September 2012, he was limited, which was last year. So
when was he at 3? Was that during Chaos Dragons, or was that during?
He was
right
Chaos
when
Dragons.
everything got hit. It was September 2012, I think, right?
Yes, September 2012. Chaos Dragons were just tearing apart the summer. Wind-Ups just won Nats, right?
Yeah, I have the list right here.
Yeah, it was Tyler Tappan just won Nationals with Wind-Ups.
Yep. So yeah, he's been on a lot of lists. So there's always, you should always talk about Chaos Sorcerer during any ban list discussion.
Agreed. So what do you think can happen to him?
Well, I don't think he's gonna get banned.
Okay.
I do. Not really.
Yeah, he didn't see much play this format, and I think going to 2 was a possibility. I don't know. I'm gonna throw that out there. What do you guys think?
I have something weird to say, and I don't know if you guys necessarily agree with this, but back when BLS went from ban to
1
limited, everyone was playing the format before. Everyone was playing 2 Sork in a deck. like everyone, like you just had 2 Sorks in your deck.
Mhm.
A lot of people were playing 2 Sorks. So I think when they put BLS to 1, they figured everyone would play 1 Sork and 1 BLS. And then, towards when Chaos Dragons were pretty much a big part of the meta, everyone was playing 3 Sork, 1 BLS, and then it got hit to 1. So I don't know if they put Sork to 1 for the sake of you play 1 BLS and 1 Sork, or...
I suppose they might, but what if they want to encourage that behavior again? Like they do have a new dragon deck coming out, and dragons means you might want to play Chaos Dragons, you know? Like, I don't know how this Blue Eyes deck plays out exactly, but I'm sure that, I mean, since they were playing freaking Chaos Emperor Dragon in the stupid mock video, I could see 2 Sorks and a BLS being in there. I don't know.
Is the deck already released?
What?
No,
No, not yet.
Deck's not
not
released.
not in the U.S.
Yeah, it's just for the future, you know.
Discussion. Like if the deck already, I mean, I really have a product.
Well, it's out in Japan, so that's something to keep in mind.
I figured if it wasn't released yet, there'd be a stronger, possibility of them hitting something.
You know, it's got the maiden with blue eyes of blue.
No, I know what it is. I just didn't,
Yeah, I don't think it can go. I don't think it would go to 3, but I think it could go to 2.
I think it has a possibility of moving, but I think it also has a possibility of just sitting.
Yeah.
Like Konami also overlooks cards very often, so I mean, it could just
Unfortunately.
sit.
Anything else on Chaos Hosher? We're gonna move on.
No.
What do you got next, Face?
Next on my list,
My next card's Stratos. What do you have next?
Dandelion.
Yeah, I didn't look at that.
Why not?
Well, mostly because I want to play it. It's very selfish. But I think it's always ban worthy.
Dandelion?
Yeah.
Why?
I was saying put it to 2.
No, I think that card's always ban worthy. That card's just really good.
Why is Dandelion ban-worthy again?
Level 3, that even when it's detached, you still get the tokens, and they have that new level 3 Plan Xyz that's coming out.
If anything, they're going to want to encourage tokens for their Mecha Phantom Beast deck. So I don't think they have any reason to get rid of it.
Plant support that's coming out.
What other plant supports coming out that's other than the Xyz?
They're making a new line of Titanials. Like, there's a new...
They're making more Princess of Camellias.
Yeah, there's a water one, and there's going to be an earth one, and a fire one, and shit. I don't know.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. The only reason I was thinking that that Dandelion, I think it's probably because Puglisi got it in my head, that card should always just be banned. And I just was just thinking because just the fact that even when that card is detached, it's not like Rinsangin wouldn't get the effect or something wouldn't get the effect. Like you would just get your tokens.
Yeah, well, you know what?
Yeah,
Eclipse Wyvern gets his effect too, but he's not banned.
And it's
so.
not like he's...
Anthony also
he's
doesn't
not-
play Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
I'm
Like,
aware.
Dandelion is the big weenie, and his only like reason he's played is because he can summon 2 tokens. Like he's not like a Tengu that when he's at 1800 and you get rid of him off the board, you get a new 1800 monster. It's like, oh, well, he's a 300 monster. And when he sends to the graveyard, you get 2 fucking fluff tokens. I mean, I don't think he's inherently like too game breaking. Is all.
Yeah.
That would warrant him ban. If anything, I would thought if we were discussing Dandelion, I thought you were just joking around when you said he gets banned. I figured we would discuss.
I don't know. I would think it would either be banned.
Especially with tokens being less useful. You can't execute with tokens. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't been used since, like, plants when he was at 1, yeah, but, like...
he wasn't even used when plants weren't hit. Like, the Tengu plants weren't hit and they weren't doing anything. And then they got hit at March 2012 list, and everyone was like, what the fuck? Like, why'd you put this deck? Everyone was expecting big hits to windups and injectors, which were ridiculously better than even Tengu plants. Even though, like, on paper, they look like a strong deck. They just can't even compete.
I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there. I think Dandelion is inferior to Scapegoat. Does anybody disagree with that?
I think in plants, Dandelion's better, but Scapegoat's a generic card.
If we're just putting the 2 cards next to each other, then Scapegoat.
Yeah. I think on my list I have Scapegoat going to 2. So I figured, well, Dandelion's worse than Scapegoat, so shouldn't it go to 2 first? You know, that was the logic. But I just wanted to throw that out there. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, it's debatably there, right now at least.
Yeah, it's not like strictly like hard and fast. This one card's better than the other one.
But I don't think it's, yeah, exactly. I feel like it can be argued that Scapegoat could be a better or worse card, so Scapegoat can go to 2. Assuming we come to that conclusion, I don't see why Dandelion couldn't.
Yeah, I don't. I just, in my mind, I see Dandelion going to 2 before I see Scapegoat going to 2.
I would as well.
And I see Scapegoat going to 2 as a real possibility, so I had to include Dandelion on the list. That's all I meant.
So, should we transition to Scapegoat right now, or?
No, we'll get there. We'll get there. We still got a few things to talk about first. I don't know. You want to talk about Stratos, James?
The only reason I wanted to talk about Stratos was the fact that he's just like heroes aren't even being seen like anywhere. I didn't even see them at anywhere.
Stratos cannot go to 2. Stratos cannot go to 2.
Okay, well I was comparing Stratos to the Magdalene as well.
Stratos is 10 times better.
Magdalene, I mean, I don't think Magdalene should be at 3, but that's a different story.
Me either. But Stratos is still 10 times better.
Yeah, there's no debate for that. Like, I feel like even discussing this ban list, if we're going to discuss other archetypes, we have to kind of forget that dragons and spellbooks exist. Like, in a weird way. Because we can't compare every deck to, like, oh, well, they can't compete with dragons or prophecy, because most decks really can't. And they're going to get hit this list, I would like to think. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, in reality, every single archetype on this list, pretty much every archetype, we can pretty much just throw everything to 3, and they might not even be able to compete with the decks that were created towards the end of this format. Maybe I'm not explaining this point the right way, but...
No, I think you got it. Like we
if
can't...
Stratos was at 2 right now, you wouldn't see the repercussion, but after this ban list, if you put Stratos to 2, you definitely would.
Also, don't forget, there's other ways to help heroes. Like heroes, a hero lives is still at 2, and I guess we were going to talk about that later. But so is emergency call, I think.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
So like, I think those would go to 3 before Stratos gets touched. Not that he can't, but like right now, I don't think that's the right idea.
I just wanted to talk about it.
No, that's definitely what we're talking about.